Good morning to all the students once again. Welcome to the second class of computer fundamentals. Okay, in the first class we theoretically saw the concepts and the definition of computer fundamentals, and we looked into the concept where we tried to see the importance of computers in the hotel industry. Okay, I think any questions and any queries can be sent to me via WhatsApp. Okay, and today what we'll try to do is we'll try to understand different terminologies or different terms or different words that are constantly used in the computer world or in computer basics. There are some common terms which are most commonly used. There are terms or words which are most commonly used, and we will try to understand what those particular words mean. Okay, so when you look at the first slide, okay, there are two words or two terminologies that are constantly used in computer fundamentals, or it is used most often. Okay, that is the concept of data and information. So we'll try to see what is data and what is information. Okay, first and foremost, data is nothing but, we say in general, we say that data is nothing but raw facts, okay, or statistics that is collected. Okay, and that is collected for what? For analysis purposes. Okay, let's say for example today I give you a certain work to do from home. Let's say tomorrow, let's say there is a PowerPoint presentation. Okay, in this PowerPoint presentation, let's say what happens is that I give you a topic. Let's say the topic is about Facebook. Okay, and when you go back home, you try to collect all there is about Facebook. Okay, let's say for example, who is the creator of Facebook, who is the founder of Facebook, his history, how Facebook started from scratch, and all that. That is known as data, the fact that you are collecting. Always remember that when you are collecting data, there is no meaning involved to it. Okay, so always remember, data does not have any meaning. You are just collecting raw informations or raw facts or raw figures for analysis purposes. It is not meant to have any meaningful all the things that you have collected, they will not have what? A perfect meaning. They will not combine together to form something, let's say to form something that might be interconnected with each other. There is no such hard and fast rule that they should be interconnected together. I think you are getting the point. Okay, first and foremost, data, nothing but raw facts or statistics that is collected for analysis purposes. Okay, and it will not have any contextual meaning, or it will not have any it may not make sense whatever you have collected. That is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so that practically means that data is nothing but just numbers or just text or just words or just sentences that you have collected. For example, we took the example of Facebook. Okay, so whatever you have collected about Facebook, okay, that is what? Data. Now when I try to segregate the concept of data and information, hence we are trying to understand that. So when I try to define information, I say is nothing but used data. Okay, as per the definition of data, what did we say? That data is nothing but raw facts or statistics that is collected. Okay, for example, we took the concept where I gave you a topic, Facebook, and in that topic, Facebook, you had to create a PowerPoint presentation. So you went home. What did you do? You tried to collect everything about Facebook. That was known as data. Now, what is information? Information, they are trying to define information as used data. So that means, let's say, for example, you collect information about who was the founder of Facebook. Okay, let's say you collected the information that the founder of Facebook was, let's say for example, so and so. Okay, at this point of time, history of that person or that individual who founded Facebook may not be relevant to to your presentation. Okay, let's say for example, Mark Zuckerberg is the founder of Facebook. So let's say for example, you might put in your presentation he was born in this month, this date, and this year. But let's say for example, information such as let's say for example, at this certain age he was doing this, or this certain year he was living in this town and he moved to that town, that are not required. Okay, those might be considered as data, so that means data, but when you are creating the PowerPoint presentation, you have filtered out the important parts. Let's say for example, you only put in the founder of Facebook is Mark Zuckerberg and he was born in so and so date, month and year. That is it. All the other things, the schooling that he did, the towns that he lived in, the place that he lived in such and such year he was living here and he moved to another town, that was completely discarded by you. So that means you are using only certain part of the data, okay, in your PowerPoint presentation, and that data in turn becomes information. Okay, I think you are getting the point here. So information, as per the definition, is nothing but used data. Since this is now a used data, so that means this particular data will be interconnected together and everything will have a certain meaning to it. For example, as we took the example of the PowerPoint presentation being created by you, and you started with history, and in the history, what did you do? You tried to put in the name of the founder of Facebook and the year in which he was born. That has an exact meaning. Okay, that has a particular meaning. So that means information will carry exact meaning. Okay, remember that. Okay, and always remember, information will be combined together in such a way that it will be organized, it will have a flow, and it will have exact meaning. So let's see. Data, as we said, data, raw facts or statistics. Again, we said that data does not have any meaning involved to it. Everything may be jumbled up. Okay, and we said that data is just numbers or text or sentences or words or anything, okay, that you have collected. The example that we took was a PowerPoint presentation of Facebook. Okay, now when we try to compare data and information, or when we try to segregate data and information, let's see the definition first. Information, we are saying that information is used data, something that you have from the pool of data that you have collected. Some that you will use, some you will discard. That used data now becomes information. Okay. The next thing is data. It has exact meaning. Again, the difference between data and information. Data should not have any contextual meaning involved with it, whereas information will have that exact meaning. And lastly, what is there? Information will always be organized, will always have a certain flow, and will always be meaningful. That is the segregation or the definition and the segregation of data and information. When we move forward, particular examples of data and information, let's see. Here the first example for students is the concept where you being a student, you sit for an examination. Then what happens after you sit for an examination? All the teachers try to correct, they correct your paper. So what is the example here? Marks obtained by students in different subjects. Okay, and different subjects may have different names. Different students will have different roll numbers. We have the passing marks, we have the total marks, and so on. All these serves as data. Now let's convert that into information. Now data, okay, is everything put together. That means the subjects, the subject name, the student name, student roll number, passing marks, total marks, and all that is considered to be data. When I combine all this and produce a result is nothing but the hard copy. That is serving as now information. The data, after being used, it serves as information. You are getting the example, and the idea and the concept, I guess. Okay. So eventually, if you look at the second example about data and information, the second example is about census report. Okay, census report where the individual from the municipality, they go around and conduct a survey where they try to understand how many members of the family are there, how many are male, how many are female, and whether they have citizenship cards, or whether they have a permanent house, or whether they are just staying in rent, and all that are collected in the census part. Okay, so that is serving as data for the census. Now the report which is being generated after the collection of data, that is serving as information. Examples given is let's say for example literacy rate, let's say for example the ratio of male is to female in that particular area. The result comes from the collection of data. I think you are getting the idea and the concept here. Okay, and the other thing you'll have to remember is this particular terminology, and the term that I used is the concept, not the concept, the word hard copy. Okay, hard copy is a physical copy. Okay, and there are two particular words involved, two particular words that come into play: the concept of soft copy and hard copy. Okay, let's say for example you click a photograph and you keep it in your mobile phone itself. Okay, that is considered to be a soft copy because you can only view that particular photograph, you cannot touch it. Okay, in that you cannot touch it, you cannot move it around. Okay, so it is a digital copy, and all digital copies are taken to be soft copies, remember that. Okay, when I want to convert a soft copy into a hard copy, then what do? I select the photographs that are taken, and the best photographs, let's say I give it out for printout. Okay, to any, let's say photo studio. Okay, and they print out the photo and they give the result to you, and you can view and you can touch the photograph, and that is considered to be the hard copy. Okay, always remember that, the concept of using soft copy and hard copy. Soft copy, digital copy, whereas hard copy is taken to be the printout of that digital copy. Okay, I think the concept of data and information is clear to you. If there is any query, you can always WhatsApp me, or you can contact me. Okay, and now the next word that comes into play, and this word is very important. Okay, the term system. Okay, when I say system, if it has let's say for example, if I use this in computer terminology, or if I use the term system in computer fundamentals, then it just means a computer or a laptop. Okay, and as per the definition, system is nothing but let's say for example devices that are assembled or combined together. We see that these are integrated devices, integrated or combined devices that are put together such that they can take in input, they can process the input, and they can give out the output, as well as store information and data. That is the concept of system when I talk about it in the context of computer fundamentals. You're getting it? In computer fundamentals, when I use the term system, then that in turn means that is nothing but either a regular or a common desktop computer or a laptop that we are using. Okay, but in case of management terms, when I say system, okay, so what does that mean? That means is that a system is nothing but a set of rules, a set of protocols that is actually followed in that particular management system, or in that particular area, or in that particular household, or in that particular organization. That is what I'm trying to clear out. Let's say for example you go home. Okay, your home also has a certain set of rules and regulations. For example, there is a certain wake up time, there is a time for breakfast, there is a time for lunch and dinner, and there is a particular time period in which you should return home. Okay, you being college students, let's say for example you want to hang out at night, you want to go for parties and all that, but there is a certain time limit at which you should return home. So that being there is a certain rule or a protocol that you should follow. Okay, that is nothing but the system that is followed in your household. Similarly, let's say for example, when I take into consideration the example of this college, okay, so there is a certain start time, okay, and the college will start at this and this period, this and this time period. The lunch time of this college is at this this time period, okay, and then the classes will go on until this time period, and there are certain rules. Let's say for example 75% attendance that you need to actually achieve to sit for the board examinations. Then the other concept is let's say for example you have to score this particular marks to actually pass this particular subject. Those are all the principles or protocols or rules and regulations that need to be followed, okay. So that is two concepts of two different meaning of one particular word, system, that we are trying to understand. So as I said in computer fundamentals, computer terminology, a system is nothing but something that is put together or something that is integrated, okay. Devices that are put together or integrated such that they take in input, they process the input, and they give out results as well as store data and information. Example, nothing but a common desktop or a laptop that is commonly used, okay. The next set of definition of a system in terms of management, okay, nothing but concept where rules and regulations are taken into consideration. A certain protocol or a certain rule or a regulation that is regularly followed, let's say in an organization. The examples I gave was, let's say for example, in an organization, what is the starting time of work, what is the ending time of the office, how many times can I take breaks, or how many leaves do I get in one particular year, and so on. Those are the principles or rules and regulations that are followed in that particular organization, and I say that that particular system or this particular system is followed in that particular university, that particular organization, or in that particular system, that particular, let's say for example, household, and so on. I think you get the concept, right? And when I try to talk about in general, okay, there are different types of systems that are available, but we are concerned only with this part, that is system being considered in case of computer fundamentals and in case of, let's say for example, management point of view, okay. But for clarification purposes, let's go into the different types of systems that are available, okay. The first type being physical or abstract system, okay. Physical system, we say that it may be static or it may be dynamic in nature, or we say that something that is already present in nature is nothing but a physical system. Let's say for example a lake or a river or a particular island that is already present, that is known as a physical system, okay. And we are saying that, see this word, and we are saying that these are tangible systems. Tangible systems mean something that you can actually physically touch, okay. You can physically touch. Those are considered to be tangible objects or systems, okay. See, whereas in opposite to a physical system, we have another system known as the abstract system, okay. When I talk about an abstract system, this is nothing but something that is in concept, okay. Let's say for example, I want to create a bridge between this island and that island, okay, and I don't straight away create it, okay. I create a let's say for example, I create a model in which I try to show that this is the prototype, or this is a particular example of how the bridge will be looked as. So that means, for example, I'm creating a small island, small two islands, and there is a small prototype or a small model of a bridge that is that needs to be created between these two islands. I think you're getting the idea, okay. So that means something that is existing as an idea and that is showed as a model, but it is not actually the physical it is not actually the physical thing that is actually done, but it is an example of the physical thing that could be done in the future. For example, a small model of a bridge that connects two islands, okay, that is known as an abstract system. Let's say for example, a small model of a building, okay, showing that this is how the building will be, this is where the swimming pool will be, this is how the bedroom will look like, and all that. just a model of the things that will be created in the future is known as an abstract system. Okay, I think you get the idea. Okay, for example, let's say and there is a model of a bike. Okay, this type of bike will be created in the future, its style will be this, its design will be this, then a particular prototype or a small model of that particular physical model will be created. Okay, so that means I'm creating nothing but an abstract system. Okay, so next is nothing but open and a closed system. Okay, open and a closed system. Open system usually interacts with the environment, it receives input from the outside, delivers to the outside world, whereas closed system is isolated from environmental influences. Okay, let's say for example a feedback system of one organization. Okay, an open system, let's say for example they put out their products. Okay, they produce a certain product, and let's say for example after launching their product, they are open for, let's say for example, criticism, and they are open for feedback from all the customers that actually use the product, or from all the audience that see the product. That is known as an open system, whereas a closed system is the one who is not favorable towards criticism, or they do not want any feedback for their system, for the product that they have created. Okay, and that is one particular difference that we can give between open and closed system. Okay, the next is the concept of having the concept where we have a permanent and a temporary system. Okay, example, let's say permanent system that has a longer lifespan than in relation with an operating human being. Okay, for example, we are trying to say that one particular machinery having a longer lifespan than an individual who works. Okay, that is one concept of permanent system. The next is temporary system. Temporary system obviously has a shorter lifespan, or let's say for example it will be used for a very short term. Okay, let's say for example temporary system, we can give the example of, let's say for example, government. Permanent systems, let's say for example we can have policies that are introduced by the government, that is termed to be a long-term system. Let's say for example your voting system, your let's say for example the voting voters ID that you have to make after you reach a certain age. That is particular example of a permanent system. Okay, and temporary system are systems, let's say for example, that is only for temporary. For example, let's say right now, let's say in this pandemic, okay, the online programs, what we are doing, recorded classes, online programs, they might be considered to be a temporary system until the vaccine is produced. Let's say for example we have to impart education right now, but this is not the same as interactive education that we used to do. Okay, we used to have a physical system, let's say for example, where students came to the college and took part in every class, and there was an interactive session where the teachers came and tried to make the students understand about different topics, give lectures on different topics. Okay, but now what is since due to poor network connectivity, also due to poor data service, also what we are doing, we are giving out recorded classes to you. Okay, so I am saying that this might be a temporary solution in this pandemic. So I am saying that this might exist for a temporary or a short amount of time until the vaccine is created. That can be one example of a temporary system. The next system that we see is the concept of having a natural system and a man-made system. This is very easy. Something that exists in the environment naturally, obviously that is known as a natural system, and whereas something that is made by a human being is considered to be a man-made system. I think you can think of different examples yourself in this particular difference of natural and man-made system. The next we'll have to look at is the concept of deterministic and probabilistic system. Okay, deterministic is the one where the result is predefined, or the result is already known. That let's say for example when you use a certain formula, when you do it mathematically also, or when you give it when you do it manually also, or when you give it to a computer also, you already know that the result will be this. Okay, that is the concept, that is the concept of a deterministic system, where the output is known to the user. Okay, but when I talk about a probabilistic system, the output is unpredictable. Okay, for example, let's say weather report. In the weather report, let's say for example, they say that tomorrow might be sunny, but when tomorrow comes it might rain. Okay, that is the concept of having a probabilistic system. Okay, and the last one is man-made information systems. Okay, and these are systems that are created by human beings and which are used for let's say for example collection of data and collection of information. Okay, man-made information systems always connected to a computer. That computer is connected to different other set of computers. A network is being created. Okay, we will look into this in the coming classes. I think we can stop here today. Okay, thank you so much. Stay safe.